As we mentioned earlier, 23,000 claims have been filed against BP in connection with that massive oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. Joining us now is one of the lawyers behind some of those suits. William Merlin represented the Port of New Orleans in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. This year, he was one of the first attorneys to file a lawsuit seeking class action status against BP. He currently represents fishermen, hotels, and restaurants against the oil giant. Sir, welcome to Bloomberg News. Good to have you on.
Hey, it's great to be here.
Talk to us about the economic impact to the folks that you're representing. Everyone seems to talk about what's going on. You know, BP spending X amount of dollars. Some of the other oil giants may be losing money, losing shares in tandem. But there's an economic impact to this region. How bad is it?
Boy, we had a town hall meeting up in Destin, Florida, and I had charter boat captains crying, literally crying, because they had lost the ability to make any money whatsoever. As soon as it came out in the media about the oil spill, people stopped coming down to the northern Gulf Coast, and this, you're talking about restaurants, hotels, the fishermen. The entire tourist industry is off 40 to 45%, despite the fact that most of the beaches have not been hit yet. Everybody seems to be looking for, the men in black to come to the rescue, and it just hasn't happened yet.
So then characterize for us how many lawsuits you've already filed and generally who you're representing.
Well, we've only filed one class action lawsuit, and these are lead class representatives that are going to be acting on behalf of thousands, if not tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of individuals. Now, the individuals can be claimants themselves, and the law, the OPA Act of 1990, is very broad. Claimants are individuals who've lost profits, revenues. They are municipalities, states that have lost tax revenues as well. BP is going to be faced with a long-term epidemic of lawsuits that are going to be brought and claims for a long period of time if they don't get this oil spill under control.
Now, let me ask you this. Why file lawsuits before all the damage is probably done? How do you know now what the ultimate toll will be?
Well, one of the first things we're trying to do in this lawsuit, and this is our lead class representatives, they're very concerned about the claim process that BP has set up. They're asking for a special master to be set up so people can submit claims and entities can submit claims as they go along without signing releases in a very quick process. So as you lose your money, you lose your revenue, you're getting immediate return of that from BP without having to wait months or possibly years to get that through the claim process. And because there's already 23,000, you can imagine the number that's going to escalate as everybody starts to put their claim numbers in and get their documents.
Talk to us about how the Oil Pollution Act of 1990 is something that you would use here at trial.
Well, for the people that are claimants, the law is very clear that if BP is found to be grossly negligent or violated some type of federal statute with respect to the spill, that there is no limitation of liability on BP. So BP could be on the hook to the extent of their entire financial resources.
But how do you define gross negligence, sir? Is that subjective?
Right, we don't really know exactly the cause of this spill yet.
Yeah, those are great points, and gross negligence actually changes depending upon the circumstances. And the circumstances in this particular case, what steps did you take in the event there would be a catastrophic loss? Sometimes gross negligence is even just slight degrees of not caring properly given the circumstances. And here, if you have a blowout that's going to destroy the entire economy of the Gulf Coast, which is going on, you should have an extremely high degree of care that apparently, as we can see from the evidence, BP is not done. Now, this act is very broad in terms of claimants being able to bring lost income and lost earning capacity. The oil does not have to hit somebody's property, and it could go on, if you think about it, even in terms of like waitresses who are getting less tips because there aren't tourists coming down. Yeah. So it's a very broad act providing a lot of remedies for people that otherwise would not have been able to bring a claim.
Do you feel any competition with other lawyers such as yourself, going down there and trying to represent these people and generate some business?
Yeah, right now there's not just competition from us against the BP attorneys who are trying to get this matter put in Houston or the oil industry. There's also a lot of jockeying going on between the attorneys who are going to be the lead class representatives in this particular matter.
All right, trial attorney Chip Merlin joining us. Chip, always good to have you on. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Okay.